on his way home and they stop him. Hey, right now. And I love this concept of like you have 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, one moment to decide, what are you going to do? Because that's a really hard thing to do, especially for a kid that believes he could trust these guys. I remember sitting in a screening of Godard's Weekend when I was 16 years old, and Jim Hosny was explaining all the things going on. And I literally said, bullshit. I literally said it out loud, bullshit. Because I'd grown up on Indiana Jones and Star Wars. I was like, the red does not symbolize the Maoist movement of the thing. And that's why the guy, or in Aventura, he spills the ink over the drawing because he's jealous of the classicism and bullshit. That was my first instinct. There can't be that much control in all this. There can't be that much messaging. And then you sort of like go, wait a minute. Like maybe there is, you know, so I can put the camera anywhere with any lens, with any distance. Like, so what photography teaches you is perspective, because holding a motion camera, whether it's digital or manual, it's a lot of pressure. It is. And by the way, of the 30 people here, you give the same location, the same camera, and you're going to get 30 different images. No one's going to pick the same angle. No one, technically, emotionally, physically, stylistically, and so that was fascinating to me. But what photography teaches you is how to make decisions. Dave Devlin, who's my longtime cinematography collaborator on this movie and previously on things like Lana Del Rey, we used a distinct palette to separate things. So the vibrancy of, I wanted New York to feel vibrant and alive. I wanted it to be hopeful. I wanted to shoot in Harlem and make the streets beautiful. I did not want to dwell that this guy was from a decrepit place. I wanted his family to be solid. I wanted there to be playfulness and a bond between him and his father and trust between his mother. I wanted a girl and friends. And the jail, the prison, I've been in prisons. I've spent a lot of time around prisons and around guys I've done a lot of time. And I always love this weird green that they use. It's a very strange, like minty color that is like sort of calm, but also institutional. And the way that like daylight filters and fluorescence. And we just thought there was a really interesting, strange, cool palette there. But it was really about trying to create a different, like a more of a first person perspective of it. So you take away violence, you take away like rapes and knife. I want to take all that stuff away because that's always permeates people's minds. So you already have that advantage that people are thinking that, and just get into like the auditory feeling of like what it's like to be a kid who does not belong here. The worst thing you can do is get in the way of Jeffrey Wright. It's Jeffrey fucking Wright. It's like, he's going to show you, as you give him the space, he's going to, it's like, if there's a stage and Misty Copeland is on it, why would you direct her away from doing what she does? Or if there's a court and Michael Jordan is bringing the ball down, why am I going to coach him on what to do if he's got a lane to dunk? Like you're talking about like one of the great living actors.
I even imagine being mad at you for a bunch of stupid things any kid does. But I never saw anything like this. I don't know, it just never crossed my mind.
The movie's told in that scene, right? It's a son professing to his dad that he didn't do anything wrong and you believe me. And it's a father telling himself, the audience, and his son that something happened. And I don't fucking know what happened, but you wouldn't be sitting here and they're not saying the things they're saying unless something happened. And that strange bit of doubt that happened, that subtle bit of doubt in his eyes and that sadness in his eyes is really tells you the whole movie. What I wanted to do was sit in the middle and try to look at the justice system, but also look at the streets. I wanted to look at the parental system, but I also wanted to look at the pressure that kids go through. And I love this concept of like, you have 20 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, one moment to decide, what are you going to do? Because that's a really hard thing to do, especially for a kid that believes he could trust these guys. What I didn't want to do was tell a story where he did nothing, because he did something. As I say, he walked 95 steps. He could have ran away. He could have gotten into a cab. He could have told the guy, hey, I think these guys are about to rob. But he didn't. He was scared. He didn't know what to do. But at the same time, someone died. That's why you see that family come in at the end, and why it was so important to like give them that shine, because there's still somebody dead. If that was your uncle or your brother, your cousin, this nice guy in the neighborhood, bodega owner, you'd be furious. You'd want everybody to do life. That's why this is shot this way, because I want to watch him think about what to do. I want him to run away right now. I want him to get in a cab. I want him to, but he doesn't. He goes in there because he thinks he can figure it out. He's a smart kid and he thinks he can handle himself. And it's like all of a sudden you get here and it's like, oh fuck, there's that kid. I will say this. I'm so honored and proud to have Netflix as a partner, because this medium and this platform has allowed for a global conversation that is part about the moment we're in today, and the movie plays into that moment, and part about social media and people wanting to get behind other people's causes, whether it relates to them or not, because people want to shift and change what has existed in the past, whether it's LGBTQ issues, whether it's race issues, whether it's police brutality, whether it's, environmental issues, whatever that is. Let's say I sold this movie and we did like a 300 theater opening, Lemley, and it's like I'm in Mexico shooting, like, oh, your movie came out, right? I think, yeah. When are we going to see it here? Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't even know who owns it here in Mexico. I'll let you know. And then it's over. But instead, everywhere I went that week, anybody that knew I directed a movie wanted to have a conversation about it. And my Instagrams went crazy in France and Italy and South Africa, and everywhere people were watching the movie, and it becomes this thing that swells. So yes, I want to see it on the big screen. Yes, there's nothing like eating popcorn and watching your film like I did Surrounded the other day. But for a film like this to carry to 400 million, to an audience of 400 million people, and whatever percentage of that 400 million that tune in, it would never happen.